What would it be like to be out here with a makeshift tent, quilts that were burned and left miles before, laying there with no coats, sometimes no shoes, and it's 10 or 20 or 30 degrees below zero. And I remember as I sat there, it seemed like last night lasted forever. I kept looking for the sun to come up, and it didn't. What a long night. And my mind went back to one of the stories where a little girl could not hear her father breathe anymore. And her mom reached over and saw that he was dead. They couldn't move him because it was dark. And they just laid there in that tent, freezing cold, and saying this night lasts forever, knowing that they would never see their father or their husband in mortality again, knowing that they would bury him, that they couldn't get deep enough into the ground to cover him up, knowing that when they walked away the next day, the wolves would come down and devour what was left of their father and their husband. I thought of, as I walked by that monument down there, those 4 boys, the Valley Boys. I said a little prayer in my heart as Elder and Sister Slappy were speaking, that some of you that are sitting here today would have a feeling that you want to be a Valley Boy. That in your minds and in your hearts you're thinking about some of those in your wards, your young women's classes, your priesthood quorums, or friends at school that you don't see coming to church. You don't see them coming and enjoying the blessings of the gospel. As dangerous and as deadly as the snows of Wyoming were in 1856, as the prelude music was being played and went, "Come, come, ye saints," and you ponder and you think about the last verse, and as should we die before our journey's through, happy day, all is well. When these pioneers died, they sealed their testimony with their faith. And my belief and my faith tells me they'll go on to their exaltation. They showed the Lord that they love Him enough to do whatever it took, even if it cost them their lives, to cross the plains to get to Zion. You and I are in our own trek. And the dangers that you and I face today, my young friends, are far more serious and far more deadly and far more long-reaching than dying in the snows of Wyoming. If we lose one of you now, spiritually, we lose you for eternity. The story was running through my mind of the Willie Handcart Company, and I shared this in the opening fireside when we started this months ago. James Kirkwood was a 12 or 13-year-old boy. His father was dead. He had a handicapped brother that couldn't walk. He had a little brother, Joseph, that was 3 or 4. Mom and older brother pulled the handcart with his handicapped brother, and James Kirkwood was given responsibility for his little brother, Joseph. And when they got to Rocky Ridge and they made that pull, they climbed up on top of that ridge. That was too much for many people. They hauled up that thing, and little James was not there. His charge was little Joseph. And then, as the night wore on, this young man that's not much older than you deacons and teachers, carrying his little 4-year-old brother on his back, climbed that rock, climbed that hill in the snow, put his little brother down by the fire, and died. That's what this is about. Why would a little boy do that? Because of the faith and testimony that burned in his heart. that God lives and Jesus is the Christ, that Joseph Smith saw what he said he saw. As you walk the hallowed grounds of Martin's Cove, I hope you'll walk with a prayer in your heart, asking the Lord what you can do to be a little better, what you can do to be a rescuer, what you can do to be a valley boy. My invitation to you and I is let's do whatever it takes, crossing whatever spiritual freezing stream to carry those we love safely and arrive in the valley, in our valley, ultimately in our trek, is safely home in the celestial kingdom of our God. If you don't believe yet, if you haven't had your witness, I invite you to prepare yourself to do what it takes to study it out in your mind and kneel down and find out, because I testify he will tell you. I hope you know how much we love you. And I pray with all my soul that as you walk and ponder and pray in Martin's Cove, you'll feel the sacred, holy ground in which you're walking, and make some commitments, even some covenants, to do what you can do to first save yourself, and secondly, to bring someone else home.